Okay, so first I'd like to say this is probably going to be very, very confusing for people. I will try to be as clear as I can. Towards the end of the story, I am going to be asking for some help finding a very important person. So here we go. I will start off by saying I was given up for adoption at birth. I was adopted by the best family that I could have ever asked for. Very supportive, very loving. They helped me through everything. I was a very sickly child, and, they did everything in their power to help me. I couldn't have asked for better. My dad's also adopted, so he also understood why I would want to seek out my birth family. I've spent years helping him look for his family too. So here's this. It's, I eventually, around 22 years old, got in touch with who I thought was my birth father. And from there, he got me in touch with my birth mother. So I spent 11 years getting to know him as my birth father, his kids as my half siblings, my other siblings, as my full siblings. So, and I'm the middle child. Me and the eldest was given up for adoption. They had kept the youngest. They were married and everything. So I ended up, when he passed away, just out of curiosity, I ended up taking a MyHeritage test. Because, I got the typical, you're part Native American, you're part this, you're part that. Took a DNA test, definitely not part Native. But that is pretty typical over here for families to say, and a lot of people show up with no Native American in their DNA. So I ended up finding this person, and this woman, she messaged me about me matching her husband's DNA test, as a very close relative. Sorry for the pause. My son's alarm was going off. So where was I? So I matched his test, and we were trying to figure out how I could possibly be related. He didn't know of anyone that I thought I was related to could be related to him. And I didn't know of anyone in my family that was related to his family. Even though, like I said, the Centimorgans, we were close. Like first. Okay, so back to where I was. So we were like around first cousins, once removed, type range. So we just couldn't figure it out. So I decided I'd do an ancestry test, because they were also on Ancestry, and they have better tools for figuring this type of stuff out. However, getting on Ancestry, it was figured out that I had no matches that were related to the family of who I was told my birth father was. Not a single one. So that was quite strange. And we kept digging and digging, and we actually ended up having people help who were big into genealogy, big into genetics. And a big shout out to them if they ever see this. I really appreciated all their help with all of this. So we ended up digging and digging and digging, and we figured out that he was either going to be my first cousin once removed, or my, what would that be? My uncle. So we narrowed it down to who my grandparents were. And it was a sibling set of two sisters, and then a sibling set, which would be my maternal, my father's paternal, my father's maternal line. I can speak, I promise I can. So, on my father's maternal side, and then my father's paternal side was almost all boys and just one girl. So, it took me a while to get the gumption, but I called the only living sister from who would be my father's maternal side. And I asked, do you know if you or your sister had a child with a boy from this other family line? And she wrote back, yes, I did. And she told me how she had to give her child up at 16 years old. So my birth father was adopted too. So I am the biological daughter of an adopted man and adopted by an adopted man. And here I am adopted. So there's that. This is complicated. So she confirmed it. She took the DNA test. It verified she is my grandmother. My aunts they tested in the right range for half aunts. I found an aunt on the... Okay, so here we go for part 3. So everything came into the right testing. I found out my grandmother did give my father away. So at first I originally thought, well, maybe my birth mother's husband was the son she gave up, but no, because my grandmother was only 2 years old when the man I was told was my birth father was born. So yeah, that's not happening. She's not giving birth at 2 years old. He was born 1945, and the man who would be my birth father, through DNA proven, was born 1959. So it just didn't work out. So I eventually talked to my birth mother about it, and she denies all of it. I don't know if something traumatic happened. I don't know if maybe she was put into a predicament where she was unable to remember things happen. There is ways that she may not remember. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. I don't know. And when I did bring it up to her, eventually she got, she just kept denying it. And eventually I went out to go meet my birth grandmother, my aunts and everything, and I posted pictures. And it really upset my birth mother that I posted these pictures. But these people are part of my family. They're part of my truth, and I'm not going to hide them. She then said, well, maybe you're not my daughter. I'm like, you took the DNA test too. We match. You can't deny that. It's just what it is. Because she took the MyHeritage test as well. Yep, she matched as my mother. And so I don't know what happened there. She became defensive. I can understand, because maybe she doesn't remember, maybe something happened, or maybe she does remember and just doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe it was something traumatic. Maybe it was just she's ashamed. I don't know. I'm not going to judge her for it. However, it did cause quite the divide, me finding this information out. So now I'm actually on the lookout for my birth father, and in part 4 I will give you what information I do have on him, which is not much. His birth mother does not remember the exact day of birth. She remembers the time-ish, but she had a TBI 4 months after having him. So I'll see you in part. Okay, so now on to what information I do have, and this is where I really need help, is maybe we can get some information out there and find him, or somebody that might know him. Maybe I look kind of like him, or, if people see my other videos, maybe one of my kids looks like him. I don't know. I do know my son looks a lot like his half first cousin once removed. Like they look like brother and sister. It's very interesting. So the information I do have, he was born in Rochester, New York, around December 1959. Like I said, his mom had a TBI. So unfortunately she does not remember the exact day, and she can't get the information because she is not him. It has to be the child to get that information. So Rochester, New York, around December 1959. She did say it was before Christmas. I know she was at, I believe it was called North Haven or Norhaven. I don't know how they pronounce it. But she was in that home for pregnant women. You know, it's one of those homes where the kid gets sent off to have the child and then went back home. You know, she was 16 years old. So I don't know how much any of this information would have. I do know there's possibilities of him having von Willebrand's, factor V, disorder, neurofibromatosis, which is what I have, a possible chance of Ehlers-Danlos. There's some major health issues that he should know about, and I want him to know. I don't know if, does he know he has a daughter? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know I exist. You know, I know at the time of conception, my birth mother was living in Ashland, New Hampshire. You know, so I don't know if he was there or if it was when she would visit New York. Maybe he lived out in New York because she visited New York frequently to see her mother, because she was from New York as well as the man that I was told was my birth father was from New York. But then her and her husband decided to move out to Ashland, New Hampshire. So I don't know. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's from. But I could just use some help finding him. I do know she was often in the Saratoga, Glens Falls area in New York, the Ashland area in New Hampshire. So I hope somebody can help. So like I said, it's not a whole ton of information. You know, unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot. You know, so I'm hoping somebody can help. I'm sorry if it's all discombobulated. I have brain tumors, so sometimes what I'm trying to say does not come out all that well. And as you can see, I don't tend to have a ton of facial expression. It takes me a lot to process what I'm trying to get out and pop out. So I just want to find him. You know, he may or may not have those medical conditions. I just know what I have. I know what his other family members have. You know, so I'm just hoping somebody could really help me find him. Or people could share, you know, the previous video with the information around in order to find him. I could use any help I can get to find him. I would really appreciate it. So thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.